And we are back. So I am fed and watered and ready to dive into the next bit of the stream. Okay, so where were we? I think we were about to make a page for the blog item. And so we basically are currently fetching the data, but we're not doing anything with it. So we can just pop it in here and see what is coming back. It should be exactly what we expected from the page before. So we want, oh, right. It's not the slug, it's the ID. Yes, that was what Hannah said, I think, just before we finished last time. Nikita, yes, there will be a recording, as usual. So all of my stuff just goes straight up onto Twitch and YouTube. So you should be able to watch it straight away. Cool. So yes, we need the ID. Now there's a couple of ways of doing that, but there is one which is maybe useful. So we can actually use, I think, the ID here and pass it along with the request. So I think if we do this, we should be able to pass. What could we do? Root location raw. Let me just see. So if we do use router.push, I think we can specify some stuff. Why is it giving me these? Okay. Force hash name params state. So can we do that? Should we do that? What else can we do? We have I think it makes sense to pull in. So we could try state. We could also just do it as a query string. But let's try state is ID is blog ID. Let's try that. So let's console log root. Oh no, let's just try here. Root.state. Do we get access to that? $sign root.state. I think it might just exist on the window history API. Let's try state and try something like const state equals import meta client window dot location dot let's try this again a second ago. So passing in state data. This is probably not something you should ever do for what it's worth, but I'm just curious whether it's possible to do this. We have state, history state, and we can access that. That's probably really if you're coming back to a window.history.state. Let's try that. .id or okay, let's try that. There should be none here, but if we go here, there's also still none. But there's also no page because this is failing. So let's just drop it out. Oop. Also not expecting anything. So we'll say state, state or nothing, just to make sure that we are accurately getting it. Let's try this one more time. No. So that's probably not a good way to stash anything. VS Code and the browser window are not updating. You're right. Here I am just sort of assuming that stuff is working and it's not at all. So, oh, that was me I got rid of. Let's try this. Weird. The steampunk rabbits. I know. I want access to steampunk rabbits, right? Like this feels very, very cool. Give me 1 second. Okay, seems to be working now. Okay, so right, we might not handle that. Instead, I wonder if we want a better way of doing it. So let's try this instead. What if I do, so basically one thing we do have access to, we call it posts. This should not, I don't think this should work because, okay, it does. Right, cool. Okay, so we're accessing the nuxt data for posts. And that means if it exists, we don't have to fetch the data from directors, but otherwise we do. So we can basically do something like page ID equals computed posts. So posts dot data again, it won't exist now, but it will now. So post data dot find post slug is root param slug param slug dot ID. Why is that not working? Post data might be undefined. Why is that complaining? Oh, dot value maybe. Okay, let's give it a try. So, yep, okay, so that will basically short circuit it if the data already exists, but otherwise we will have to compute it. So basically we're like fetch it. But in most cases, people are going to be migrating directly, or if they're not, then they are coming from maybe a hard reload, in which case this is going to matter less. So instead, what we're going to do here is get the post by slug. So I think, so if not page ID, let's say ID is page ID value. If not ID, then ID equals await. This is, why is it thinking that I can do this? I don't think I can do that. We basically want to have yeah, this is just not going to work, but so we don't query it by, okay, we need to read items, right? And then we are going to need to filter it, I guess, by ID equal, no, slug equals root param slug, right? That's what we're going to need to do. And then we're going to need fields ID on that. So why is this? Oh, because it would be, so I would expect that's right. It's coming back with the ID. So we should be then querying it for the ID. So the post is now coming back. As the result here. Oh, we're not displaying it. So actually that would be fine. Right. Okay. So this is good. This is good. So we want, okay, if not ID, then return null. So we've not got a thing. Great. So we now have a, we don't need sort. We do need publish that. We are going to need content as well. We don't need slug because we've already got it. So wait a second. We shouldn't be doing this at all. We just query by the slug. What am I talking about? So let's try this one more time. Let's just pop the slug in here like that. And let's drop this whole rigmarole. Right? I don't, maybe it's more performant to do the other thing, but we don't. Anyway, so we can drop all of this. Simplifies things. And so we're going to return post 0. And so that should, yep, it's returning us a page. And so we want now to just sort of style that so it looks as we expect, which is this. So let's drop this in down here. And it should look like that. Now I think we can borrow a lot of the layout from here and display that here. So what we're going to do is, I think this should be blog, and then we can actually just drop that, and we have some content straight away. We don't, do we need a link for it? No. So this is just going to be the blog title. And I think we can also say, we can add a VF because that's what it's complaining about. So we would want to maybe assert that it does exist. Right. Cool. So what do we want to do? So no blog title to start with. This is the H1, should be the H1, is our blog title. And we then have some information. Probably want to drop the article surrounding it because this is the whole page. What is it complaining about? Oh, it might not exist. Oh yeah, of course. So post 0, and I think we could just do something like the if post. We can add some like handling later, like a loading state. So we have the blog post, we have comments, we've got text. We also have this sort of metadata about the blog. So we would do something like written by admin in uncategorized. Okay, so there's this category and there's this author, and then there is the actual content. So the content we're not going to include in an inner P because it will certainly make it not work. We'll make it a div, and we have to use vhtml, which is dangerous if you don't control the source of the data, but directus controls it, so we're not going to complain too much. And we're going to add prose, I think, and Uno CSS might have a typography preset, it seems. So we add this. Actually, we might just be able in our nuxt config to set Uno CSS typography true. Is that going to work? Beautiful. Okay, so we have our typography preset. It's working nicely. I think we have got some sizes to tweak. We also have this should be class is font thin. Makes me wonder if we should just have it as like a default, and also text small, and also oh, ooh, I love the idea. I'm particularly interested in making. It also needs to be text gray 600, 700, 800, and then we need to make these links. So this and this are going to be next link, and they're going to have underline, hover, no underline. And I think we need to adjust the gapping. So the gap should just be 8, maybe less, 4, 6. And cool. Then the bit at the end, which has the date, I think, can go away, interestingly. Or it should be up there in the sort. Now we could maybe have this like more posts thing, comments. I'm very interested in like Asahi Linux. So this is what I'm particularly, this would be what I would be excited about. Yeah, very excited about that. I've seen good stuff from Acrium on Blue Sky, which would definitely be worth checking out if you're interested in that. And I'll probably explore it at some point. But right now, like most of the time, my aim is to avoid dangerous situations, so that I'm not sort of distracted. Like I don't know, stuff can. I don't want to put out fires in order to. Yeah. Anyway. Okay, so we have external link, internal link. Cool. That's probably, yeah, that's definitely something we would need to test, because at the moment it will do a hard reload. That was a hard reload, and we would need to figure out how to. Beautiful. That's lovely. Like, just nice, straight in. Hey Zons, nice to see you. Cool. Now I think the concept here. So I thought I would have a look and see what the. So I'm reproducing the WordPress theme here. So this is our would be a beautiful WordPress site. And we still need to do a few things, because I've been focusing on a smaller layout view, and we're reproducing it in nuxt. So just having a look at, yeah, there's a lot of things we need to make different here, right? So there needs to be a lot more space. I also don't know exactly what it will look like on. Yeah, that's not the right width. So we need to have max width. XL. It doesn't seem to be working actually. What did I do before? Max width 60, 56. Okay, why is this? What is going on? Oh, it's the wrong page. So we need to do this on the home page and say max width 2XL. XL. Okay, that feels about right. Blog needs to be a bit bigger. Probably this is for both, I guess. So this is basically it's to be a template, so other people can pick it up and use it themselves. We need a bit more padding between the or around, I guess, every blog. So we probably want to have gap 12, large, gap 18. Maybe a bit more, 22. That feels much nicer, doesn't it? And then that takes you through to the blog. And I think there are a few more things that we would want to. Oh, we'll need to make sure that we copy across the max width to the blog page, and back again. Beautiful, isn't it? I love all the space. So cool. Now I wonder what happens like when you're changing stuff. So we can also see a little bit about what we would do. Okay, so we also have to like an image. So I thought I would check out the WordPress launch. So this is the documentation for 2025, and so this is where they show this example of an image like above the blog post. So I think basically if there's an image, it should appear up there. So we should have like a blog image, if there is one. And so I don't know whether there is. So let's just pull in all the stuff from the blog. Actually, we could do it. Do we have an image? We do have an image. So now I think the image is just going to come in as a, probably need to specify the image fields that we want. So we probably, again, we want the ID. We requested image stuff in a previous situation. We want, oh, we have nuxt image, right? Here. And so we want the ID, the width, the height, the description. And so we'll pull those in again. Width, height, description. And we will say, if we have one, image, then we're going to pass all of that in. So we want basically all of this. Except not settings logo, but blog image. And then we'll say image for okay, so we do in fact have an image. We shouldn't set the H6. There we go. We have got an image. Beautiful. So if that's pulling in here, there's our image. Now we probably don't want, this feels like a very big image. And I don't know if what we really want is, let's get some, if we really want to sort of pick an aspect ratio, like say class object. I can never remember this object cover, is it? I'm gonna have to pull this across so I can see. Or is it the next image needs to be object cover, and then this needs to have a defined height and width, right? Height 8, 12, 24. Overflow hidden. Object center. Okay, what am I doing wrong? And we want what, like actual height 126. We want the position to be center. What is it? Position center? No. Object. Is it not object center? That can't be totally right? This does seem to be the right overall look, but what am I doing wrong with the center, right? Is this something that lives up here? Okay, object fit cover position. Come on, tell me. I need to have, yeah, cover. Yeah. Okay, well, let's try position and not object none. Feels like it's not quite right still. Like I don't want it to be so, yeah, CSS tricks was so useful, wasn't it? So I'm a bit confused. Like I want it to cover, but I want it to be centered. I am sure I've done this before, but it's been a while. This was what I did. Are they wrong here? Ah, okay. Yeah. Oh, is the issue that we don't have width and height, or is the issue that maybe that? Yes. Okay. I just had to say heightful as well as widthful. Great. So we have our Ed. Hello, good to see you. We have some images. We have some content. Let's see. Are these images properly optimized? That's what I do want to check, because yes, height, we're getting our height coming in, and we actually have correct width and height data for the image, which is great. Is there a roadmap to nuxt 4? There is. If you've read the release notes or seen any of my recent talks, definitely check them out if you haven't, because I go into it in a lot more detail. Basically, nuxt from our end is largely done. We're just waiting for our dependency nitro. So nitro is going to do its own major version, and we don't want to release nuxt and then immediately have to do another major version for the nitro upgrade. So we're waiting for it to be released. But you can already test out the breaking changes that are in nuxt using this guide. But yeah, I wrote a blog post. There's lots of talks about it. So there is an upgrade guide as well. So upgrading this, you can test nuxt 4, or there's a whole raft of stuff, guides to what has changed and why. I would have loved to release it sooner, but we're unfortunately tied based on making sure that our dependency is updated. Okay, so we have got our content. You're very welcome. Oh, we need to pull in the user, right, who wrote the blog. So I'm assuming that he is. Byron, if you want to share a link to that, he posted just the other day on Blue Sky. So do check him out. Right, so we need links for that. So do we have links? So, not you, where is it? Okay, so here we have our posts. Do they have an author? Status, we do have an author. Okay, so we're going to pull in, hopefully, our author. And I strongly suspect this is going to be another thing that we're going to have to get the specific fields for. So we'll pull in our author. Hey, Kiri, nice to see you. Okay, our author, we're going to need to know their name. Ooh, we haven't got an avatar. We need to know their password. Okay, we're going to pull in their first name, last name, their... I don't know if we're going to somehow allow them... Do they have an author page? Hey, nice to see you, Bunny. Oh, what is the restream bot suppressed? Oh, did you post it? Well, let me see if I can find it. So, Puya. Oh, yeah, I didn't post it. He said this. And I'm sure he would be very grateful for any feedback you have. Okay, so we have our author. We have our... just our author, I guess. And okay, I don't think we need to have an author page for now. I think we can probably just display the author. Now, I'm not sure there's a category either. So do we have a category? I think not. So I think these are just posts. So there's no category. So this will be a little bit different from the WordPress one just because it's a bit different. So we're just going to pull this in as this blog.author. And we'll say the if blog author. And so we can then drop the question marks. It's a very sort of US-centric view. for what it's worth, that people have a first name and last name. The moment you you start going into, okay, the author is webmaster, so they don't actually have a first. Let me just see what we've got for our author. We have, oh, nothing. That's weird. Unfortunately not. Do I need to make it as a separate field? Interesting. Yeah, we've got our ID. Can I drop everything there? The author is undefined. Thank you. I appreciate that. Okay, this is interesting. I wasn't really expecting that, but I guess it's fine because we just do not have any author data coming through. So I wonder if that's some kind of protection. It looks to me like it should come through. We've got a webmaster as the first name. What if I just select first name? I'm in the right page. We are pulling in no author. Well, but isn't that what we're doing here? So we're just like with the image, we are expanding it. I think that's what this does, right? So, and it's like it's typed. So it's saying we should be able to pull it in here. And if I pull in the ID, does that work? No. We're not pulling in anything. If we but okay, look, so image, it is expanding a reference, because if I pull in just image by itself, image is like this. Aha, yes, that's it. I thought it was a permissions thing. So basically we, yeah, exactly. Okay, so we are going to restore the author and then add access to directus users. So I'm guessing I can do that here. No. User access policies. And no, I don't think it's that. Content read. Maybe it is this. And then we want to add access to directus users. There we go. And we probably don't want all, because I guess that would probably be passwords, but we can definitely do first and last name. Oh, wait. No, this isn't a field. This isn't field based, is it? It's if I do this, am I exposing user passwords or just public fields? Is there any way I can Let's see if it does. It doesn't mind, right? Like, okay, so I've marked that as content read. Now it's possible that isn't what applies to the yeah, I think we'll see what returns, right? So if I refresh this now, I should be getting a user, right? What is this? Is that yeah, I selected custom initially, but it basically doesn't. So I thought I can just do like select first name, but it looks like it's a it doesn't. Oh, you mean that one? Oh, I see. Okay, field permissions. That's what we want. Great. Okay, so we don't want any of these basically. I mean, we probably want avatar and description would be fine. Okay, that's perfect. Great. When you were saying sidebar, I thought you were talking about the other, but no, that's lovely. Okay, so let's try that again. So now we should be able to pull in our TFA secret. What? Let's try this again. We should be able to pull in partial, use custom, sidebar, just field permissions, just those. Oh, the rest were all still selected. Right. There. That is something I would, by the way, I think that could be improved maybe. Okay, so we are pulling in the stuff and we've got first and last name, which is all we really need. And now it's going to display that we've got them. So, and we would probably also just want to do something like but this is not very conducive to like Dutch names, for example. Like if you have a fan or something like that. Time to subscribe. To whom? To what? Oh yes, exactly. Right. Okay, so this is good. Okay, stuff is coming in. We've got our written by webmaster. We need to handle these internal and external links. So I'm just going to write a very quick script to do that. So we'll say function handle link event, and we're basically just going to add a click handler to here. And we'll just call this handle link clicks. So we'll say if event if event target instance of HTML link, not link element, HTML link element, anchor element. Return, right? No, don't. It's very kind if you want to, but please feel no obligation at all. I don't stream for money. We're going to say alert event target ref. Okay, so this should hopefully work. Great. So what we want to do is basically say for internal links like that one, we want to hijack the click. So say if event target ref starts with, so like for internal links, actually we don't want that. Because it could be protocol relative. So I think we could just say if not has protocol event target ref, or just have that accept relative true. Otherwise, we are basically going to event prevent default, and then we'll pull in the router here, and say router push event target ref. So this should do a client-side nav. So if I have an internal link, it's going to, well, it's going to take me to an about page, but that wasn't a hard reload, I don't think. Let's just check. So if I have a look at my network tab and I look for document, this is going to show me hard reload. So there's a hard reload. I click here, click back, click here, click internal link. Oh no, it is a hard reload. Why is it hard to reload? Why is it? Wait a second. What is the href? Oh, the href has it has a protocol. It's already HTTP. So what am I doing? If const URL if URL, well, I could say this if const URL is oh no, we'll do it this way. That's nicer. So if URL dot host doesn't equal window location host, then return. Otherwise, prevent default and push the URL dot path name. So that should mean that we can. Yeah, there we go. So that is a. That's fine. Okay, so that's going to handle our link clicks within our internal, and it should also work, like our external link should still work, right? Yeah, so it still works fine. Okay, what do we need to do? Exactly. See you in court, cow. This will be on this will be on YouTube. It will be on Twitch. It's gonna go up, Rogerio. But nice to see you briefly. Cool. So we've got stuff coming. So just to have a look at what everything looks like at the moment, we have got our homepage. It has this lovely, beautiful 2025 branding. We have got some images, some text. It's all written by Webmaster, but that's coming centrally. And internal links, they will work. I mean, it doesn't exist, but they do work as internal links. So that all seems good. I think the next step is to figure out how to do a page builder, and so these things actually do work. So this is. Right, so this is how we do it. We're going to have to add a catch-all route because we have our different data here. So our posts are fine. Our pages, though, we've got home, privacy policy, blog, and contact. Interesting. We may have to refactor the blog and homepage. We can start by implementing something that's going to render the like, oh, for goodness sake, there's forms. Okay, we have to render like the home page, maybe. No, that's no. Privacy policy. This should be as simple as they come. So this is just some text. So we're going to add a catch-all page, which in nuxt looks like this. Whoops. The ... slug. So we won't call it slug. We'll say what we call it. Permalink. Okay, so we have is use root, and this is going to be blog. No, it's going to be permalink. And so we now have some stuff that we're going to want to display. This is going to be empty, and we're going to say data equals a way to use async data. Page, we'll say. And what are we doing? We're getting This seems relatively good. What's the matter? Oh, permalink join. And I think it also has to start with, so with leading slash, which is a helper utility we can import from UFO. And that should be fine. And we should basically be able to get everything here. And I'll just have a look at what it looks like on the page, right? So we're going to pull in our page. Oh, this is because I'm using typed roots. So you can see I have, I know, for example, that permalink is going to be a string, an array of strings, if it's defined, because it's a catch-all root. But you also see it's the only thing available on params. So if I try and access slug, like maybe I mistake and forget that it's slug, it's not going to work, because this particular one only has a permalink params. So it's really useful. It's a no-brainer to enable it. We just want to see what's coming down the line. If we were to go to, say, our privacy policy, why isn't it coming in? Okay, our privacy policy is coming in. Cool. So what we need is, the blocks we're going to have to handle. And we need our title, our description. We need our published at, maybe. And we're going to need our blocks. And I guess we're going to need to resolve them. So, interesting. Yeah. So we're going to need to resolve our blocks. And they're going to have stuff, I think, attached to them. Why is that complaining? Okay. So we now have, for each of the blocks, if they are, this is block rich text. So instead we're going to pass a type here. Rigura, you can. So I think you can. So if we do define page meta, name my super page, then this is now the name you pass to use root. Did you just see that? Adding the name there invalidated the, see, now it's permalink, but you add it in, da-da-da, it's now the name of the page as far as everything in nuxt is concerned. Yes. So, our blocks, I'm just going to get stuff in there. Okay, so we basically, what are the keys? We had background, collection, ID, item, page, sort. So basically, if yes, is this a life-changing moment? I hope it is. So okay, so for page and item, we have different params that we're going to pull in, right? So oh, for goodness sake. So we're going to need to query these separately, maybe? They might be separately queried. Oh, interesting. The good news is TypeScript will be with you. Okay, so for our page, we are going to pull in everything. Okay, so we've got, it's got a title. Wait a second. How can you have, what are we doing here? How can you have a page? I'm a bit confused because this is just pulling in the same information as the parent. So I'm not actually sure that that is right. I think this is what we want. And so basically for block rich text, we're going to pull in the, actually probably all of that, the content, headline, the title, and the alignment, I guess. Okay. Great. So we are only handling, that makes sense. Okay, the back reference to the page you're currently on. Yeah, okay, that totally makes sense. So like, okay, yeah. So it seems it would be effectively circular. In this case, therefore, we can access the page title. Oh, by the way, some of the stuff that we're pulling in here, we can actually do useful things with. So if we were to go back here, we have some data there. We can do define use SEO meta, and then we basically can pull this across. So we get like like that's going to be fine, right? Okay, so what are we doing? We're on the page, so we have a title. I'm just going to move this to the end, so we can again be using it correctly. So we have our title. We probably want to put in what happens if you go to a page here. Oh, they don't exist. Let's look at the release. There's no way I'm reproducing all of this, but like this is a very beautifully designed theme. But we can get some of the way, and I guess it can also be open. Typed routing is experimental and off by default because the library that it uses is experimental. So if you have a look at unplugin view router, it is still at 0 point, and it is still experimental. Yeah. So that bit, although it now says the typed writing is fundamentally stable, but because there are other APIs that are not, we'd still want it to be experimental. As soon as Eduardo tells me it isn't, we would enable it, and it is becoming more stable all the time. At some point, it will just become part of view router. Okay, so what would I want to do? Here we have our site. We're going to have our content. So we're going to probably iterate over our blocks. So we'll do something like section v4 block in page blocks. Yeah, and what is that section? We'll drop this whole thing out, and then we want to have what is this? That's some Copilot generated stuff. Okay, so we basically we have an item content. So and also the block doesn't have an ID. We might grab an ID, right? Just for the sake of uniquely identifying them. So we'll have the key as the block ID, and then we have we probably want to like have a renderer for these different bits. Sorry, yes, Karinix. I think it would work. It should work with nuxt 8 and localized routes, because now partly like we moved the scanning page metadata to build time, like before you run your app, which means that so yes, I think it should. But give it a try and let me know if not. Okay, so we want to have the same thing. here. So yeah, it's saying privacy policy, which is nice. And one thing we could do, interestingly, I think, is say title template should be could try that. So now we have privacy policy, like your site. Cool. Right, so back to the policy here. So then for each item, we want to render it like in a unique and different way. So we would want to do, say, we could do that with some components. So we'll have a components, rich text block, and this rich text block is going to have define props, and it's going to take in what we would have is title, alignment, content, headline, I guess. And for the moment, we're just going to say div vh. No, we're going to stick one in the middle. Okay. And we'll use that here. So rich text block v-if block dot item. Oh, it might be helpful actually for us to pull in somehow or does this let us select? Is there a way to know what kind of item it is what I'm wondering. Headline, title. Collection. ID, page, sort. Collection. Cool. So that is going to ID, item. All right, what's this? It's almost weird how I've clearly typed at some point something down here that. Why is this? Oh. What is this? Let's just delete that. Okay. We want collection. No. Probably not. But I guess the question is here, we're trusting our own CMS. There's no security in VHTML. You can totally do anything wrong with it. So do not do it. Do not use it well. Okay, so if collection is block rich text. So cool. And then we would basically v-bind block. We might want to do stuff in a more specific way, but block item. Yes. So now we have our this is interesting. So why does this mean we have privacy policy written twice? Is it in here as well? It is. So privacy policy is here in the content. I think we probably wouldn't want that. Like, I think it makes sense for the page to have the title rather than it to be in the content. But it's complaining, by the way, because we're not passing all of the keys, or they're not marked as optional. So I think we would want to say, why would it have a title, headline, center? I don't know. These are things that you would probably want to implement with your own implementation, and we'll just add our pros class. Hey, thank you. That's really nice of you to say. So I'm going to go back and delete this bit in the CMS. Save. And boom. So there we go. We have our privacy policy nicely appearing for us. And I think the title, alignment, and headline are all optional. So we'll just say required false. And hey presto, we should now no longer, what's it complaining about? Oh, it's saying, oh, null is not allowable. Okay. Okay. And it's complaining about that for which one? Title. And now it's going to complain about the others too. Content. Okay, the cat actually probably wants me to put the tap on for her in the bathroom, so I'll be back in a sec. Yeah. Okay, here we go. I think this is, now the alignment is interesting, right? So I don't know exactly what the alignment means. I'm pretty sure I have pretty TS errors enabled. Right, there it is. So yes, because so it's, for me it's about performance. So so view just transforms. So you can write this as this, and we can basically just say title string content alignment headline, right? And that will basically be exactly the same. So this can just be replaced with that. So this will also work fine. And on the one hand, it is shorter. Yeah, you're right. It's just because I was copying and pasting it. And actually, I think we say content is required. So like it's simpler and shorter. And in this case, it's probably totally fine. But often I would recommend that you only use it in like the final version of your project, because it requires Vue to make a transformation step. So here, sorry. So if we were to go to the Vue single file compiler and paste that in here, we'll get an error because it's missing. I guess we have to make them all optional. But you'll see what it transforms it to. It's exactly the same thing that we just did, that we had. So I sometimes like to, I like to avoid that. But in this case, it is nicer. Also, it makes you think sometimes that validation is happening that isn't happening. So you could specify, an object, and it won't actually validate the object. It's just an assertion. It'll just validate that it is some kind of object. In this case, we have to go back and specify that could be, is it the null? It's only a build time penalty. There is no downside to doing it at runtime. Okay, cool. I guess I'm not quite sure what we do with the other bits. I'm not quite sure how. I wonder if there's a directus template that already exists that shows what they might look like. But anyway, I feel like that would be something you could easily implement using the same pattern. So like in the rich text block, you're going to handle how this. What might be interesting. So import from build directus types. Do we actually have the type? So block rich text. So here we have these things. Why don't we do that as our type? So it actually matches the type of the thing. That's pretty cool, right? So now we have a much safer thing. That's cool, right? I think that's nice. That's a really nice thing. It's going to complain because now we need the ID, I think. So we'll get it. We'll pull in the ID. Beautiful. Everything is matching fine. Actually, at this point, it's probably just a star, but anyway. Is that going to work? Yeah, it's going to work. And so we'd be able to do exactly the same with every other kind of block that we've got. So so privacy policy only has that, but let's go to maybe the about page. Is there an about? No. Okay. Contact page has a form. So thank you, Nathan. That's interesting. I think I might have to pay more to restream to make the quality better. So that's maybe something that might be what's causing it. Okay, so let's handle this extra field. So we have our block form, and we'll pull in that, and we'll create a rich text. No, we'll create a form block, and this one will have block form as our stuff. And so we're just going to, if you want to see all of them, we'll just pull it in like this. Okay, so this is going to be the contact page. And so if we now go back to our random permalink and we just say we need to render the form, we're going to render the form block, and we're going to just go directly. Oh, actually, we have a link. Okay, so here we are. We're rendering our form page, and this is the form. It's got a title, it's got a headline, and so we can handle that. We could do something like, maybe there's going to be a, well, let's render it as a form, right? So we have a form. Can we use a heading in a form? Does that make sense? So we do headline, and yeah, get in touch is coming out there. So we're going to say, or it's not heading, it's header, right? Yeah, and we'll do class is text XL, and we would then have a effectively, yes, but I do sometimes like the explicitness of something like this. But yeah, you're right. So yeah, these types are generated during development, so it's not checked into your repo, it's just generated. So we created a little module here, which is just does this, generates the directus types, writes it to the nuxt directory as this directus types file, which then gets used in the directus plugin here to generate a fully typed schema, which is accessible everywhere in your app. Is that not cool? That is cool, right? So, and even like fetches some settings data explicitly. So I'm very pleased about that. And I think there's some more stuff we could do. Oh, call me Phantom. Do you also work at Directus? Because that sounds very much like we don't want to explicitly take responsibility for this, but this is a pretty cool little app. Okay. So we have a title, we have a headline. Okay, just checking. Oh, Byron. Okay. It sounded like you might be the kind of person who's wanting to check. So interesting with our block form, because here we have a form, which is itself another directus thing. So I think we have to handle that as well. So because form is another like thing that we have. So we've got forms, and they have Masa, nice to see you. So we have, oh, for goodness sake, there's a lot here, right? So we have a form, and I guess the tricky thing about this block is maybe the block should handle this itself. It would have been easier for the page to fully resolve the form for us. So maybe we can make it do it. So we can say, could we do something like fields, form fields? Something like that. We might be able to do that. Let's see. Because those will have, yeah, some information there, some bit. So we could say we want to resolve our, oops. What have we got? We need to have our title and headline. And then we need to have the form itself, and we're going to need to resolve that, right? So yeah, we could, but that basically means you have a waterfall effect, and I want to see if it's possible for us to avoid the waterfall, right? So we're going to pull in our form fields like this, and that should mean, oops, that we have each field has got its stuff. So I think we could do fields, block item form fields, like that. And then, so that's still typed and still type safe. So then what we can do is basically like render them in here, like template v4 field in fields. And then we've got a input don't you love this? Like, we're getting the type of actually what is available on field and what isn't. Field dot, okay. Okay, so we've got our fields. We have type text. Oh. Actually, we could just say type as text. Placeholder field placeholder. Okay. Oh yeah, we are rendering stuff. We just didn't see it before because they didn't have any kind of styling. So we have our text. We have our width. I'm not sure I like that, but we have null maybe. Oops. Oh, is somebody nitpicking me? Yep, Rogara, the only issue is I have no idea where this form is going to be used on the page. So I do not know the level of a header. That's my main issue. We might be able to like track the depth, but we don't know, right? This happens to be a standalone page, but it could also be inside a blog post or something like that. Okay, so we have okay, so we'll say the form is going to be flex call gap 2. We have width. Oh, this is a percentage thing. So we could say class with 50%, width 1/2 is going to be field width equals 50. I don't know what our choices for widths are. Okay, we have got those. Cool. Oops. We also need to have 67. Cool. And in this case, we should make it okay, so that's respecting our width. We need some gaps though, of course. Oh yeah. That's interesting. It should be possible in Amplify. This is tricky. We could basically subtract the gap, which would effectively negate it. Okay, so what's the point of that? Could we give it a padding, maybe? So now it still has the effect. Maybe? Let's just see what the actual looks like if we give it a border. I think if we give it a padding and no gap, that might just be... Yeah, good idea. Okay, so we'll do grid calls 6. Instead of these, we do Why is that not? Okay. Grid call. What am I looking for? Call span. Call span, yeah. Dash span. Okay, so I would basically have a 6 span for full. Right. Okay, so this is going to be a third would be 2, half would be 3, this would be 4, that would be 6. Okay, so it's implementing, and then we just have our gap 2, gap 1, much more beautiful. And we still probably want our padding. That's pretty beautiful, isn't it? What does our what does it look like here? If we go to a blog post and add a comment, it's not very beautiful. We're not copying that. I think this is a nicer look. Okay, so what else do we have? We have our email. We need to handle that. So this, I think, is a generic thing we could probably reproduce in more places. We'd say, or field type is, oh. So what is email looking like? Still a text. Okay, and then we have, oh, we want to sort it probably. But I'm not sure that's so straightforward to do. Okay, so what did we want to do? We have, what else do we have? We have select. Okay, that is what a select. Okay, so we can do a select. Why is that complaining? Oh, cool. Which means it probably is doing that anyway, but yeah, we can. I don't know. I don't mind looking at it in the raw form. You can see more. Maybe make it small. Okay, so we've got our select. We need our options, choices, option, text. Cool. This is not WordPress. It just happens to look like WordPress. The styling is based on the WordPress default theme, but that is it. It's an anti-WordPress. Yeah, basically. Okay, so what? That's weird. That's not a valid complaint in this case. Okay, so we have text, select. We have, oh, we need a label, right? So probably we can wrap each of these in a label and say, now we can just move the key up. and drop the key entirely and say field label. Oh, for goodness sake, now it's looking a little bit less nice, isn't it? But that does mean we could move the... my design is beginning to tremble here. Yeah, this code is going to go up. I'll go up and you can make it look better, etc., which I'm sure it desperately needs. So anyone who wants to do some nice design work on it, or even just check it out and see what you think, I would love that. So what would we do? We could make this uppercase, make it even smaller. Could we maybe make it flex call? Give it a bit more padding. Gap 1, make it a padding 2 kind of situation. It feels like this is quite tight. It needs to be a little bit bigger, right? Inputs need text align right. Why would you want the text align right? Okay, and then I think we have got a text area as our last one. Beautiful. So that is all looking really nice. And it's not fully resolved. There's probably some more stuff. And we probably just need to add a little button at the bottom. Not sure about that. I think it should probably be a black button. What do you think? To fit in with the theme, but what other props do we have? We've got props dot no, we're not getting rid of the active outline. We can customize it, but we want to have some, like the accessibility of that is quite handy. Unless you have a better outline that we can propose. Oh yeah, okay. Yeah. Okay, so for some reason the contact page is quite a bit smaller. So let's have a look. What are we doing with our width? Oh, we probably need to set width full. Yeah, there we go. So wherever we have this max width thing, we also just need to add the full, just to keep it. There we go. Okay, now that's not looking half bad as a form. And it's being rendered all dynamically from the page, which is quite nice. Oh, but that is actually meant to be, well, currently it's rendered on the home page, so we need to figure out how to handle that. We also probably want some maybe active styling on the, well, it's a mix of fun. Like, I'm going to publish this as a template for people to use. It's really similar to, do you know why it's really similar to the WordPress theme? It's because we are literally looking at the WordPress theme. So that is the concept. Cool. It is extremely bright, Patrick. Nice to see you, by the way. So what are we doing? So cool. I think we're basically we're sort of pretty much there. What am I missing basically? Dark mode. Well, why not? I feel this needs a bit more space, right? Like it looks fine, but it doesn't quite match the feel of the whole thing. So I think the outline for a start needs to be removed. So I mean, obviously I like that little border. The border is looking nice, but on the other hand, maybe not. What happens when you get rid of it? Okay. What happens when we drop the padding? Don't need the padding, but we probably need to increase the spacing there. And definitely increase the spacing here. No, the back end here is written with directus. So that's the challenge. Cool. So this feels lower the opacity of the label. That is amazing, Regroa. Like, obviously I'm in sync with your computer. Okay, this is feeling a lot more aligned with the theme. Well, we have to handle what happens when you click submit. So obviously this form has to go somewhere. So it's going to go somewhere. Oh, we have a submit label. Okay, so what? And we have I guess a message. No, but we could have a message. Okay, so the form also needs to have like a submit label, submit message, and I guess we need the ID probably. Probably to submit it. So the submit label and message. Great. So this should be oh, we're going to have to pull in form as well and specify that we need to have the form fields too. Is Vue still going to like that? It seems so. So now we have our submit label. Nope, we don't. Oh, because we're not passing it through. So we basically need to bind oh, no, okay, now that's fine. We'll bind the block item and just specify that the form is available like on the form like that. There. So then we are going to access it off form.submit label. Ta-da! Beautiful. Okay. Ooh, hello. Someone just typed a lot of classes. Pick and choose. Okay, so this input is for the input or for the label. We'll try it for the label. Oh, you have a ring. Oh, nice. For the input. So just the input, okay. Ooh, nice. Yeah, lovely. Although we also want, I guess, for the select. That is, it's beautiful. But the only issue with it is it doesn't quite fit the theme. So the roundedness, for example, is like I feel the look, yeah, that maybe it's a good starting point. The ring is certainly nice. I would like maybe to avoid the blue. Where is the ring color? Oh, it's this muted foreground. Like, I feel like, it feels to me like this should be sharp. Like, I don't feel like there should be a roundedness. So I'll drop that to start with. And I feel like instead of the, where's the ring? Is it? Where is that coming from? If I is ring, maybe I just need to add like another class, ring black. Yeah, that feels that ironically feels better. And I guess we probably want to do the same for the button. The button, I think, needs a bit more padding, though. What does it? Anyway, I think it looks nice. Although I think we might want to do some generic stuff about outlines, because this feels like it's different here in the form compared to the rest of the site. So then when we tab out, we're back into the normal focus outline styles. So this is just quite a nice little site so far. Okay, so we now need to center the text. Cool. Yeah, we could do that. Oh, it's now is it flex? That's why. Why is text center not doing it for me? Oh, justify center probably. There we go. Great. Now we need to actually have it submit, and when it submits, it needs to handle the submission. So I think function handle submit event, and the event is going to be the form event. So we're going to say at submit prevent handle submit. And so this is now going to say const form is that, const data is new form data form, and we're going to have to hit an endpoint, which basically means I need to have a little look here. Submitting form or form endpoint. No. API reference. Oh, maybe there isn't an endpoint. I'm just sort of assuming there must be a form endpoint, but it's possible that because form submissions is just a, yeah, exactly. Which is fine. Okay. So, and actually there's several forms. Okay. So yeah, we'll have to do that. So we will maybe have to hit I don't know whether this is whether anyone can hit the form submissions or not. We'll see. So basically we will say, yeah, that's fine. And I think it could pre-render the pages totally fine. It just depends on how likely you're to change stuff. So now at the moment, all the IDs are the fields IDs. So if we were to hit this, there we go. Oh, it's going to log something. It's going to log this object, and I think it's just all the IDs, and that might not be what it's expecting. So we're just going to have to handle it. So we have directus, which is and basically we would do directus directus.request, I guess. And we're going to want to probably import it. I have only just made it. There will be, it absolutely will be a public repo. So what do we want to pull in? We want to pull in some like create item, and we're going to do that. Form submissions, cool. And so we have the form ID. No, not the form ID. We are going to need to pull in our props here. It's going to be props ID. And our, okay, and what are the things we're in? So the values. Interesting. It's saying it could be a array of strings or form submission values. So what is a form submission value? So it would be what, an ID. Aha, perfect. Okay, that's great, because that's what we have. So we would have this is going to be an iterator. So we basically want to say, could we do, we're just going to spread it, I think. And we would do our data entries maybe. So we do effectively entries map, and we have our basically our ID and value. So we're just going to seamlessly return back our ID and our value, and it's going to complain because it wants form submission values. So IDs, values. So that should be acceptable. So the error is maybe that it's not fully, like, do we need to say that value is, there we go. Hello, Frozen. Nice to see you. So we're going to make this request, and we're going to obviously have to handle some errors, and we are going to probably have a submission state is going to be a ref, and we're going to set the value here. So and afterwards we're going to say cool. Mate, nice to see you. We're going. So we'll say I'm gonna log it, and then I think basically if reset the form, and we'll display a message. So we need to display the message. The message would be where it would be maybe just above the get started button. So we would do something like form dot success message. Oh, but it could also have a redirect. So if there is a redirect, so if props.form.redirect URL, then we're going to push to it. So we're either going to do a hard reload, or if it's a, so const URL is if then router push, for goodness sake, const router is use router, router push URL dot path name, else window location ref equals okay. Oh, for goodness sake, multiple languages and page previews. I see. Maybe we'll have to see. Okay, so that should handle the redirect. Cool. And so we would display the form success message if the state is complete. So we'll just pull that up. We'll say v if true, because I want to see what it would look like for now. Do we have a success message? We don't. It would look like form submitted successfully. Interesting. This would be, oh right, call span 6. And what else should it have? Hey, thank you, Bunny. It is extremely bright. You are right. So that seems fine. So what we do, submission state is success, and v else if submission state is error, we would do form. Do we have an error message? No. We would just say there was an error submitting form. Let's see what happens. Daniel row, submit it. Okay, so it says it submitted it, and oh, it did submit it, but you're right, the fields. Okay, so we basically need to say, oh, interesting. Okay. So, but it needs an ID. So I have to generate an ID for it. This is a little strange, but it requires it. So, I mean, on a type level, if I omit it, it complains because it requires an ID. So that the values here have a required ID. Oh, is this coming from, okay, I can just specify this as, because yeah, the create item type, like I think the types might be wrong here in that case. So we're just going to ts expect error ID is not actually required. Okay, but it worked. Let's try it one more time. now it should populate with the correct. It should display the form. So I think we need to populate that as well. But you see all the values are correct. And that's good. And we do need to specify the form, it seems. So the props ID, props form ID. There we go. Let's try that one more time. This time it should come through, I hope. Yes, it is automatic. So now I want to see the form. Yep, the form came through correctly, the correct form and all the data. Yes, this is very, very satisfying. Okay, I think it's working. Our form submission is working well. And I think we could also do something like, if we go to the form and say the contact us form afterwards should redirect to a URL, and say that it's going to redirect to the home page. Let's see what happens. I'm going to submit the form. Oh, it's the same. Navigate to, yeah, I probably could have done that as well. Missing required prop ID. Oh, that's not related. Why? Okay, maybe. Oh, because we didn't request it here. So we need to request also the success redirection. So let's try that one more time. Done. Beautiful. So, okay, it's all working very, very, very nicely. Yeah, navigate to would would just be just as good. So probably a better thing to do that way. So good idea. Okay, so our form submissions are working, and our, yeah, it's super dark, isn't it? It's super dark. I may actually have to go. It's getting a bit late, but okay. So so everyone tell me what if I do a little bit of hacking on this before I stick it up online, what should I do? What should I hack? You're saying preview mode. What else? Like what are the other things that this desperately needs? We need to, I think, probably add like the blog view. The thing that is here probably needs to become a component, and probably needs to stick that in. What else? So, but like I feel like it's pretty good. I don't know how you feel, but like it feels like we've basically got a sort of WordPress-ish thing. We've got our backend, we've got our random pages, we have like it feels solid. Yeah, responsive breakpoints definitely need to be checked. Like on a, I think feels like it's not bad on mobile. That can probably be better. I think it could probably like fall under it, so it doesn't need to be a column maybe. But I mean, the whole idea about putting it up publicly is that hopefully people can dark mode. Hopefully people can like help. I also need to add some documentation, like how do you get going with this? You need to provide a directus token in order to get the type safety. I'm actually going to convert this a little bit and have some options. So we need to provide, so this just happens to be the current URL, but we would want the user to be able to configure this in here. And also I think there are some things where we want to automatically set them up for you. So so I think we would want to say like directus should have config key, it should be directus. We should have a let's see, module options. We have our interface module options, and we would pull in our URL. And that is probably required. We'll specify this now in our nuxt config. And pop it in here, options URL. We'll also set up nuxt image, which we're doing like this. So we'd say nuxt options image dot directus base URL, and it should be join URL options URL assets, unless the user has already provided their own. I guess they might do that. Cool. So now we don't need to specify that there. What else would we want to do? Why is that not working? Update our package JSON, remove the nuxt directus module. That's weird. Oh, add template basically adds a, it hooks into Nuxt itself, and it basically creates a virtual file. In this case, because it's a type declaration file, Nuxt knows that that's useless unless it's written to disk, so it writes it to disk for us. But that is what's going on. Why is this? We need to have ID in what? Missing from title, headline. What else do we need? We need a non-nullable form, I think. Oh, we probably need also to form. I guess the form is coming in through the item. We might need to address that type safety thing, but I should go. I shouldn't just spend the entire day building this. Okay, why is directus complaining here? So we need to have should have our local module. Oh, I think I might have to restart to make it work. Yeah, there we go. So now we get typed usage for directus. A lot of the stuff is like configuration. What is the reset? Do I have a reset? No. Okay, I think that's looking like a pretty minimal nuxt config. This will all go up online and you'll be able to access it and use it. Comments, we could probably use a form to add blog comments. We probably also want to set a default of like the font thin as our, like our default font, and then we override it everywhere else because I think it looks a lot nicer. Oh no, now I've over applied it because some of these I think we wanted, we were taking advantage of the base, but I'll come back to that. to do font thin by default. I don't know if we should specify this in the nuxt config under Uno CSS. That's still going to work. Seems fine. Oh, and we're going to pull in our base URL here through runtime config, I think. So we have our module. We shouldn't need to specify this. Yes, the loading screen will be different with Nuxt 4. And in fact, already is if you try out the nightly version of Nuxt. So we'll update runtime config with public directus base URL is options URL. And then that will pull into our directus plugin, and we will say const config is use runtime config, and we'll pull in config public directus base URL, and we might need to reload. Yeah, beautiful. Type safety, and we're not specifying nuxt process anywhere except in our nuxt config. Good. Is it going to work? Beautiful. Still working just fine. And our config is now fully set in our nuxt config. We've created a little custom module to do all of the work for us. Feels like it's coming along. Great. So this is, I feel, committable. Oh, that was probably when I was just testing stuff out. Okay. Close all editors and feat say initial commit. There we go. A good day's work. So if, no, I have to do some linting maybe. Lint fix. Oh, what are we linting? What is this? What on earth? Why is this? Why is that keeping on? Okay, we should just specify this as and we could use vdom. What was that? Okay, right. So that seems fine. I think that should now work with the linting. Beautiful. Okay, so our initial commit is done. We have nuxt process. I am going to push it. It's not complete, so please don't shout about it yet. Thank you. I will put it up. Yeah, I could, but it would also be just as much of a lie. I'm going to publish it. So if you want, like if you have any ideas about stuff that I should cover before I finish, go and have a look at nuxt process, which also might not be the name, but you can see the link there. And I will pick this up another time. Okay. But thank you all for joining. It has been a delight and a pleasure, as always. So have a lovely evening.